Welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. I'm about to share my screen with a whole bunch of news that we've got that's coming in from last night to today, from Congress to exchanges. A whole bunch of stuff is going on. So let's jump into some of the news that I thought was important to share. Then I'll share some of my thoughts towards the end as we wrap up for today. Coming up next. All right, jumping right in here to the first story. Gemini got sued over, or is being sued for allegedly misleading statements over Bitcoin. Apparently back in 2017, there wasn't much of a Bitcoin futures back then. Everybody was trying to figure out what to do. There wasn't the Chicago Board of Exchange was not involved yet. Gemini was trying to get involved. And apparently something that they said might have been misleading. So there's apparently a lawsuit that's pending against Gemini. Whether this is FUD or not, I don't know, but this is a story I was shared. I think LitecoinLeader shared this with me last night. Thank you, Lisa. But that furthers the information that I also got from CryptoZoros and George last night about Binance is getting investigated now by the SEC, and the SEC is starting to really reach out there again to try and seemingly overstepping their bounds once again. They're looking at Binance and to see if they were acting as a security, and they overstepped based on what they're doing. They're investigating Binance US, and looking at registration. So I'm going to share this link as well. And then, so this kind of goes back to Binance talking about how there's a lot of myths and a lot of FUD that's coming out about how Binance is apparently involved in being a home for a lot of hackers and a lot of scams and a lot of fraud that's coming through. And this is just people. It's just more fear stories is really what's going on. And Binance did a pretty good job at debunking this on their blog as far as like how they were money laundering. That's a myth, and it's a false narrative. So basically, they're trying to say that through Binance's blog that this story is really just a FUD. So, but the bigger story that's going on right now is that the U.S. draft bill. It's a draft bill that's being released today by I think it's one of the members of the House, and what's happening now is like this is a draft bill. So if you're not, I'll talk about bills in as I close, but let me go over the bill a little bit. There's a ton of pages, like 600 page copy of the leaked bill that's coming out, and it talks about DAOs and DeFi and how like everything needs to register with either the SEC or the CFTC, and it gets pretty deep into it. But one of the things that and there's going to be things that are pulled out of this. This is a big document. But one of the things that
breaking news for Bitcoin. All Bitcoin transactions under $200 will be tax-free under a new US Senate bill, making it more practical to be used as a currency. Also, Bitcoin self-custody will be protected under this new bill. Very different to what's going on in the EU. This is very bullish news for Bitcoin. Breaking news.
All right, so I wanted not to interrupt her as I shared that video, and that's another video I found this morning. So she's got one take on it. George from CryptoZoros had another take on it. There's gonna be all kinds of takes throughout the day about this draft bill that's coming out because it's coming in front of the U.S. Congress, and it's crypto in front of Congress. It makes a lot of news. One last story. I might have two more, but let's see. Reserve rights token, which is like a token I've talked about before as part of Altcoinopoly last year. If you don't know what that is, go back and take a look at my older videos. Maybe I'll find the RSR video and link it up here. We'll see. But Reserve Rights is a project that was backed by both Coinbase and Binance, and they're getting close to being on their own mainnet. So the Cointelegraph is talking about that. So RSR is gaining some traction, which is interesting because we're in a down market. It's hard for these altcoins to really gain a lot of traction. But this is a big story for Reserve Rights that they're going to be moving to their main token. You can see how crushed that their price has been. Just the TradingView chart, it's just way down there. So you can see like these lines go all the way down, and maybe we're bouncing off of it. Maybe we're starting to head towards a recovery. Not financial advice, but RSR is making some headways. And then just a little picture of George. Hi, George. And this is CryptoZoros. He's talked about how a whale bought a bunch of Bitcoin last night with a big dip. So there's lots of things going on. So let's drop out of all the news, and let me start wrapping up my thoughts and talking about that bill next. Okay, so lighting is weird today. Anyway, so I don't need these anymore. So Going back to the U.S. bill. Now, if you remember how a bill works and through legislation, if not, go back and watch Schoolhouse Rock. If you don't know what that is, I'm sorry. But the way a bill works is that a bill gets proposed by Congress, it has to get through a committee or a subcommittee. Then it gets kicked up to, if it passes all that and gets through the committee, then it gets to the House. And at each level, they could change things. So the next thing, it would get to the House, then the House would vote. If the House says yes, then it would go over to the Senate, and they'd vote on it, and then it would go to like some commission to kind of like make sure the two versions of the bill match, and that it would be passed on to the executive branch for the guy sitting behind the desk to sign off on it, so that it becomes a law. That's how it works. We're not close to that point yet. We're at the point where it's being introduced by a senator who's representative, I believe, who's very friendly to crypto, and she's putting it in front of Congress. Now, why does it matter if it's so early? Because anytime you have a bill in front of Congress that's talking about crypto, we get to say what's good, what's bad, and see if there's any way we can influence it and see which way, like the tea leaves are reading and the winds of change are blowing as far as what could be happening in the United States or other countries for crypto. So that's important to be out there. The other stories, Gemini, Binance, they're to me, it's FUD. It's like they're attacking the exchanges. There's going to be issues with exchanges. They may come after decentralized exchanges. Who knows what they're going to do? All I know is this, is that the Bitcoin price keeps going sideways. This news seems very positive for Bitcoin and crypto going forward. So I think I agree with what Leia said, that this is a very positive sign for crypto, especially if the $200 rule gets put in for anything under $200 is not a taxable event. Finally, we'd have some realistic lines for taxable events. I think it should be higher than that still, but it's a step in the right direction. Maybe they'll raise it. Who knows? $200 could be a gallon of gas by the time they get enacted to law, but hopefully not. But in any event, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on all this news? Are these good things for crypto? Is it a positive step? Share them below in the comments. Really appreciate that. Do a hashtag Bitcoin. It's always good. And let's get this video out there. Like, subscribe, share. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to your comments. And as always, I'm gonna say, lot said today. Close the drawer on the bureau. One last time. Say goodbye to all my alarms. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.